Hello everybody and welcome to this video of myself and Gavin. We just wanted to quickly look at something which is perhaps something you know about already, maybe you don't, maybe you're exploring upgrading your flute and you just wanted to get some extra information. We're going to talk about C foot versus B foot. Now, there's one extremely obvious difference, which is you get an extra note. Not even for free, you usually have to pay a little bit more, unfortunately. But with the B foot, you do have this, like I say, this extra extension here, so there's another note. It makes the whole foot joint longer, and therefore the flute longer, and we may come back to that and what that means. But Gavin, as a professional flautist who's worked all over the place, I know you've done a lot of musicals, orchestral and commercial stuff.
Yeah.
How often does the extra low B thing come up for you in reality?
In reality, not all the time, but it does come up sort of more frequently these days. So, I mean, one example is West Side Story, where it comes up literally in just one bar, but that's the way it is. And a lot of writers just sort of think, oh, that'd be nice if I could put a low B there, and so you do find it sort of crops up here and there. And had it in another musical that I did a couple of years back in London as well, and again it was just one note in one bar. So it's one of those where it's not, you know, sort of throughout the repertoire, but probably more so in classical music or an orchestral repertoire, you'll come across it sort of more regularly, and some of the flute repertoire as well. So it's sort of becoming more and more something that is the norm. But that said, you're not going to need it every day, and if you don't have a B foot joint, it's not the end of the world. You know, you're still going to be able to play 99% of most repertoire. So
the big question is, what do you do if you don't have a B foot and you see that B? Just cough violently when that part comes
I
up.
do know guys that have had like an extension made, so it literally just sort of slots into a C foot, and obviously that means you can't play a C anymore, it just plays a B. So if you've got the time to do that, that is always an option, but it can be quite an expensive option to go with. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, either you cough if you haven't got the B, or hopefully, you know, somebody will have the B, and you go, okay, well, you play that bar, and I'll play the next bar. Yeah. So you know, there's always ways around it.
Just about get around it, yeah. But I mean, I think there's quite a lot of modern, perhaps more modern repertoire as well that maybe it comes up. But I think if you're upgrading generally, it's not something you have to worry massively about, depending on the level you're upgrading at. If you're off to music college, perhaps it's something you potentially should be thinking about.
You probably come across it much more in terms of flute repertoire that you cover in advanced level going through music college, for sure. But again, you could argue you don't necessarily need it because there's still a huge amount of repertoire that you wouldn't need it for. So
pick your repertoire accordingly.
Yeah.
One just final thing to finish that I wanted to pick up on, because it's something we've talked about off camera before, that addition of the extra note and therefore the extra length. Do you feel if you compared two flutes back to back, one with the B, one with the C, you would feel a little difference in the overall tone of the flute because of the extra weight? Yeah,
I mean, there's an argument for that, and also the length of the tube as well. So sometimes it can give you a sense of a sort of a more meat to the sound, or a sort of a thicker sound or tone, if you like. So especially in the bottom octave, and also perhaps in the top octave. One of the things is it does actually affect the tuning at the very top on the top C. So quite often you'll see here on this one, or whether you can see this, but there's a little gizmo key which is called a gizmo key, and you put that down for top C, which just closes the bottom B itself, which brings that sort of down for tuning.
So it's a little bit bright,
otherwise it tends, and that's something to be aware of as you go sort of from high G, top octave upwards. It tends to affect the tuning a little bit, so you've got to be a bit more sort of conscious of that in the top octave. So it's sort of pros and cons a little bit as well, but it does definitely lend a bit of extra depth to the sound, I think.
Cool. Well, that's a good tip there on the tuning as well. Yeah. Maybe just to finish then, maybe just do us a nice gentle down to low B.